I talk to a lot of people who have bought in singleness, where they've kind of in their minds associated buying a home with a spouse.
Right.
But your vision behind, like, I can convert it to a rental eventually, like, I can be independent now, this can be an asset to my future from here.
Right. I would not say that that was probably how I was thinking when I went into it. I wish I could have said, oh, this is amazing, this is my plan, I am so happy to do this single. That wasn't the case. I now, since owning it, feel that way very much, and I'm very happy that I bought single, because I think sometimes we can wait for certain seasons of life to happen and kind of stay in disappointment or stay in that sad season, when now that I have purchased this, I'm like, oh, it makes so much more sense. I can rent it out, I can have income coming in when I do move into that season of life where I am married and have a family. So I think trying to look beyond the moment and really setting yourself up for, hey, this is going to be a good decision either way, because you could either sell it in the long run, you can rent it out for Airbnb, you can have it just be a long-term rental, so it'll always work for your benefit.
I love that even with that in mind, you made choices based on current advantageous, like having a home that you're not paying rent for, that you're paying a mortgage, but also with in mind, I know this isn't my forever home, so how can I buy something that'll either be easy to resell or easy to rent, because you had current and future vision simultaneously.
Right. You mentioned that, something popped into my head about really being mindful of not trying to buy something that's going to max out your budget, because I think like having all the bells and whistles in front of you and you're like, oh, this would be so good, but my budget might be a little tight. I went the opposite direction, and I went under even my max budget, because I wanted to have a little bit of room because I freelance and my income is always up and down, and I just wanted to have a little bit of cushion there. And I think having come into 2020 with, losing a ton of work, it's worked out in my benefit, and I'm really happy that I thought that way, so that way I kind of can feel a little bit better in this season of, I may not have the nicest bathroom yet, but I don't have to worry about my mortgage. But I don't know if you've talked about this or not, but buying in an area that's up and coming, buy in a neighborhood that is going to appreciate in years to come. Even if it's not your ideal location at the time, just trying to be forward thinking about this is, I think, really important, and will actually help you set yourself up for success down the road.
Yeah.
So kind of always trying to be forward thinking with, even if it's, a family home or a forever home, like even try to be forward thinking about what will this neighborhood look like in a couple of years? Is that important to us? Being mindful of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it is, buying a house where the things around you are going up in value, it's just faster appreciation, you end up getting more value for it. And I think it's also good, like, taking into account what your future priorities are and setting up the location based on your future priorities. Like, if your goal is, I'm going to sell this place in a couple of years or rent it out, it's good to have that in the forefront of your mind. But even if it's like, this is my future forever dream family home, take into account, will I want kids in 5 years? Will this still be an ideal location? When I hit this phase of life in 5-10 years, will this still be an ideal location?
Right.
Do I like what's around me for that? So future forward thinking is super necessary.
And I think something I wish I had done prior to buying is, when you find a property that you like, visit that area in different times of the day. So visit it at night, kind of just spend some time in the neighborhood to kind of get a feel of, like, okay, what is this like? I moved from the west side of Nashville to the south part of Nashville, and they're two completely different worlds. And it was a little bit of, not culture shock, but it took me a little bit of time to acclimate to this new part of town. And I think I could have already done that prior to moving in. It would have just made that first month a little bit smoother, but now I love it. So it's okay.
Yeah, it is always a good idea to just drive around the area, like, multiple times a day. It's brilliant. I definitely recommend that.
Thank you so much for joining. Like and subscribe for more interviews with friends, and if you have any questions, please reach out. I would love to connect with you.